Alright, so what we have here, guys, is a universal hydraulic flaring tool set with a pipe cutter, or it's labeled a tube cutter. Its brand is Mastercool, and they describe themselves as world-class quality. And I'll say that it's a really solid tool, so I'll agree with their description. And what you see here is a bunch of different flaring options and housings to make the flaring on the line. You got your standard flare, but you got double flares, the GM fuel line, generic push connect fuel lines. What we're going to be using today is the push connect forming fuel line flare, and I'm going to show you guys how this tool works. It's pretty basic, but it takes a few tries to get it right. I would say practice a couple times before I suggest you do it on the vehicle, because you don't want to be cutting your line shorter and shorter as you go on the car. But I'll show you guys what it's going to do, or what it's going to make, at least for me today. I used it for two different applications. I made the push connect line, which is this one right here, and I used this tool to make this flare right here, which super nice and very clean and easy to use. Here's one of the lines that came off. You can see how rusted it is. It's pretty beat, but this was one that was OEM on the vehicle, and this is one that I have made. And this line's not usable. This was also part of the line on the car that was clean enough to use, so I did this for an example. But we're gonna go ahead and do it again on camera. I'm gonna use the flaring tool and show you guys how I use it on camera. But yeah, this is exactly how it'll come out, and like I said, the results are really nice because it gives you a nice clean, I cleaned the end of this line so the flaring tool would fit right, but it gives you a nice clean seated flare here, which is very convenient. And like I said, you could do this on the vehicle with this tool. I have this other flaring tool here. This one is specifically for brake lines, but this is not one you can use on the vehicle. You have to have this mounted in a vise. This is courtesy of the Eastwood company, and it's also a really nice machine. This one is a lot easier to use. I would say this one's easier to use, and it gives you perfect flares almost every time, but you can't use this on the vehicles. This Eastwood flaring tool won't make the fuel line. We're gonna use this one right now. I'm gonna show you guys what it is. I got this nice clean line that I'm gonna use. We're gonna flare this thing out. All right, so I'm going to be showing you guys really quick how I use this tool. I'll just go ahead and give you a quick look at it. I'm going to set it down. I need the 5/16 flare because that's what's going to make the push connect flare for me. So you grab the 5/16, you know the line's 5/16. It can't be the 3/8, it's too loose. So it's the 5/16. You need that, and you need the housing that'll hold the line in the tool for the 5/16. So you grab that also. And what we'll do here is we are going to set it up in the tool. I'll go ahead and grab the flaring tool, put it in there, and then I'll set the housing, the line housing, in the tool also. It's a loose setup right now, but we'll tighten that up in a second. You take your line, and after you make the flare, you won't be able to do this, but you take the line and you put it in about as far as you can so it meets right here, so it's nice and flush. And once you get your line in there, make sure you tighten it up so it holds in place. And you want to crank this down pretty nice and tight so the line doesn't slide. There are some teeth in there, but just go ahead and crank it down. And then what we'll do is we'll thread this on so that this piece of the this flaring piece here will go right on the line in the housing. Okay, so you got to kind of make sure that's flush so it'll go on the proper way. And I'll just start threading it on there. Once it's started, it's pretty simple. You just thread it as far as you can until it feels like it's bottomed out. So I'll go ahead and just thread this in, and it's got a good 3/4 inch to go. Just make sure it's in there as tight as it can be. So okay, it just bottomed out. I can't thread it anymore. So that is when now I will oh, you know what, I had the hydraulics opened a little bit there, but I like the hydraulics to be bottomed also. So there we go. I'll take this back here. Okay, there we go. I'll close the hydraulics up. super easy. And then I will pump the hydraulic system, and what that'll do is that'll push this the remainder of the way in, which will pinch the line and give us this result here. So we're gonna go for that, and I will need 2 hands when I'm at the last step of pumping here, because it is pretty tight. Okay, I'm gonna give it one last squeeze with 2 hands. Okay, now before I let the hydraulics go, I'm gonna back thread it out. So if I could do this. Oh God. Oh, there we go. Took a little bit of strength. All right, so that's loose. I'm going to loosen it some more, see if it'll pull that flaring tool out of the housing off the line. Okay. It's probably gonna pop here. See it backing it out. Oh, there we go. Pulled the flaring tool off the line in the fitting, in the housing, and we're gonna back this out as far as we can and then release the hydraulics. Go ahead, release the hydraulics now. Pulls it completely out. Okay, that's all good. You can see we're clear here. I'll loosen the housing here with this clamp. This should come out easy. We'll set the tool down and we'll open her up, and we've got a perfect push connect fuel line. And it's not so easy. It's not that easy, but like I said, after a few times you do it, you'll get it down. And I'll show you guys that this actually works. I have the nylon plastic clip for the fuel. This one's for an evap, but it's the same thing as the fuel ones. I have a bunch of them. This one just happens to be what I have handy, and you'll hear it clip in there. Nice. It's seated. You can just barely see that seat we made right there in the clip, and there's no pulling this apart without the tool. So I'll grab the tool real quickly. We'll get it in there. And pull it out, show you guys one last time. You can see it's a really clean line, and I think it could even be a little better. This one looks a little off-centered if you ask me, but this would work. If it clips in right, you're good. So you can see it. I'll slide it in here and do my best to show you guys exactly what that looks like one last time. And you heard that little click in right when it went past the plastic fitting. And that's it. I pulled decently strong and it does not come out. That's the big side. So here we go, put the tool in there. Comes right out with the tool though. That's a good line. So that's what this tool does, this Mastercool flaring tool. This is one of the harder flares to make, I would say, but it works. And you could do this on the vehicle. It's not easy on the vehicle, I will say. Disclaimer, not so easy to use on the car, but if you have an extra hand or somebody holding a couple things with you, it's doable. I'm also going to show you guys this brake flaring tool. We did do brake flares on the car with this tool, but we also made new lines with the Eastwood tool, and the Eastwood tool is much easier to use, which I'm going to be showing you guys that here in just a second. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to clean this tool up and put it back where it belongs. You don't want to lose any parts, then it's no good. So set that back in its place. This has to be threaded in a little bit, I believe, to fit. Okay, this goes like this. Oop, this has to be threaded in also. Okay. Oh yeah, we still need to go in a little bit. And voila, it's back in its case. I think it could even go even more. I think we'll just thread it in as far as it could go. I think that's what it wants. All right, that's better. That's how that goes. And these have keyed spots, so they go in the right way properly too. Okay, thank you, Mastercool. You're a great tool. Put the pipe cutter back in there so we don't lose that. Thanks, Mastercool. So, if you guys are watching at this point of the video, make sure to subscribe to my channel. I know 90% of you aren't subscribed. Make sure to hit the subscribe button and give me a thumbs up in this video if you liked it. Leave me a comment in the section below if you want to know how I used any of the tools or what exactly I did there. I know it's a little complicated at first, but it's really an easy process if you have these tools. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Stay tuned, and like I said before, make sure to subscribe because that means everything to me.